What's happening, everybody? It's Drew from the Drinking with Drew show. Tonight, we have an amazing, awesome show. No other than Nasty Ronnie from Nasty Savage with Kyle Sokol and Dave Orman joining us to talk about their new release, Jeopardy Room. So we are going to review two new songs that have been released from that album, and Brainwasher and Schizoid Platform. We have Brad Mader of Must Not Kill and Jason Stallworth in studio, as well as the normal Pajama Joe and Lusty Laura. So tune in. This is an amazing show that I'm totally excited for. Being a huge Nasty Savage fan, it was an honor to talk to these guys. So stay tuned and check it out. All right, guys, I want to get to this fucking song, yes. Brainwasher from Nasty Savage. New release. There's only 2 songs out on the album right now. I did order my special marbled edition vinyl from FHM Records, correct? Mm-hmm. FHM. Yeah. There's limited editions. There's different kinds. I got the marbled. I don't know how many are of what or each, but, definitely recommend getting the limited edition. All right, let me see if I can get this cranked up. All right, so Dave also said picture discs will be ready next month. Not sure how many they are doing of those.
I can confirm that if you go to fhmrecords.bigcartel.com, you can find their merch. So.
I want to eat your brain. choice. Benediction, crucifixion, incarnation of redemption. No power given to deny. Evil come and evil go, but that's the way they run the show. Now it's time to justify. To be free, but the humans have got me. Found them blind and taught them to see. Seeking deliverance from all the indifference. Seeking deliverance, tired of ignorance. Evil come and evil go. A blot upon a holy sky. Do you know the reason why? Brainwasher, chain of the state remain. Brainwasher, 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 brainwasher. I wanna eat your brain.
I just love it. I mean,
it's a great tune, dude. It is a great tune.
I think it's probably one of the strongest efforts they've ever done.
yeah. I mean, and here's the deal. I'm old school Nasty Savage fan.
Yeah.
Like old fucking school Nasty Savage fan. Like 15 years old listening to fucking vinyl Nasty Savage fan. So I was worried, and I talked about this a couple months back when we were talking about their new release.
Yeah.
I just didn't know what to think or how is it going to work? I mean, new artists in the band, and I mean, respectable artists, you know, Jim Coker I played with when I was fucking 15 from Brutality. He was killing the drums back then. I knew they had respectable artists. Kyle from fucking Nocturnus. I didn't know he used to play with you guys. Like,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Kyle's in the band
By the
for a
way,
long time.
Kyle says Brad made a rules.
Well, we know.
Yeah, I mean, so
No,
man,
Kyle's amazing. Like, not blowing smoke up his ass, but he's literally one of the best bass players I've ever jammed with.
dude, you know, but I was still nervous because I didn't know how that collaboration was going to mix with the new members of the band, you know, trying, you know.
Well, I'm not an old school Nasty. Like, I know of the band. I saw him play my hometown in a warehouse,
Right.
like back in the day when I was like 14 years old or some shit. But who's actually left in the band that's original?
Ronnie.
That's it.
Yeah.
So everybody else is
Nasty Ronnie is the original singer, and he is in the band. Now, there's reasons for that, and I don't, you know, as an old school fan, when I first heard that things were going down, I was a little upset, a little crushed, cried a little bit. But when I heard they were rebuilding, restructuring, you know, I had faith in Ronnie and that he would make things right. And man, did he fucking make things right.
No,
Like,
that's a
dude,
great lineup. I mean,
he
you can't.
killed it. Like,
Yeah.
this is probably, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better fucking sound, you know, like this is just amazing. Let's get this other song on the way. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to pick the song apart a little bit.
Well, yeah, go ahead, man. I was going to play both of them and kind of stroll through it, but yeah, if you want
Let's
to
do one
that.
at a time.
So Jim kills the drums on this song. I love the way he fucking does the drums. Like, just that's what caught me on this. Just the old school thrash double bass on it. You know, the way they let it roll and just have him fucking kick it. That to me, you know, that sold me. But the way they just come in with that fucking crunch and just let it slide a little bit, like that sold me. What do you have to say?
Yeah, the intro of it was like remind me of Forbidden a little bit. You know,
Okay.
it's just like that kind of style
Yeah.
of stuff. Definitely old school thrash, but you wouldn't expect anything else from Nasty Savage. And that caught me too. When I heard the double bass, I'm like, oh, they upgraded. You know, it's nothing against the old players, but I mean, they were more that, you know, two-step.
Well, but they've had some double bass.
But you know what really caught me? I mean, the song's pretty long. I mean, it's 5 minutes long, which is, you know, me, I have like a automatic 3 minutes shut off switch.
Cut it down to
ADHD.
305.
But what I liked what they did was that all the parts don't sound like they were just thrown in there. It actually sounds like a composition. Even like doing those little interludes with the solos in the beginning after the first verse, and they go into that solo break, and then they get back into it, and then they, you know, everything just really blended nice. So I was really caught off guard with it. It's good, man. Good effort. Good job.
Were the
guys.
drums really that fast, or was that some sort of like editing trick?
No, that's Jim. That's him playing those drums. Like that's how he plays.
That's like click, 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 like that was super fast.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it might have gotten cleaned up in the studio like everything does, but. Sorry.
But that's not a sampling track. That's not fucking, you know, digitalized at all. That's him fucking playing.
They could drum that quick.
Absolutely.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Jason, what are your thoughts?
Dude, it was phenomenal. I love the drums like you do. I'm a sucker for double bass. The song sounded raw and polished all in the same time, if that makes sense. I think we're in an era now with metal, with music in general, where it's overproduced. And I think that's what music is lacking. And I think that's why people listen to older music versus newer music. It's because it's overproduced and overpolished. So when they came out with this, you know, I was in the gym when I first heard it. I'm like, okay, I'm glad it's leg day.
Always in the gym.
You know, but no, it's phenomenal, man. And I love the composition too, Brad. I love the song structure, everything. It's not, you know, I know most metal like that. It's not the typical verse, chorus, bridge, solo, whatever, you know, but they really, the way they structured everything in the song and the way it was written with all the pieces, you know, it just like came together so nicely. So yeah, I mean, it's a phenomenal song, man. And it's, I'll say this too, and when you hear something like Nasty Savage, and this is coming from someone who didn't really listen to Nasty Savage as a young kid. I didn't really know about them when I was younger. So I'm kind of ashamed of that. Why didn't I know about them? But
probably the same reason you didn't know about Morbid Angel or Obituary. Like you have to kind of
True.
learn about bands as you evolve, and I mean, you know, that's part of life, you know.
Yeah, I was big into like, you know, the old Metallica and Slayer and all that stuff, and of course some of the hair bands. But in any case, though, when you hear of a band coming back like this, you don't know what to expect, and of course I wouldn't have known the lineup either way. So I'm listening with a pair of fresh ears here. And it's taking you back to some of the old school stuff, however, without sounding dated, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm really impressed. I'm can't wait to hear this next track. I've already heard it several times, but this next one's just.
Let's hear from Joe, who is not a crazy metal addict. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't hear metal at all growing up, so it's all news to me in the last couple of years. I did like that the lyrics were actually like audible. A lot of times, like, you know, thrash metal, whatever you call it, you have to read the book jacket to know what the lyrics were.
Sure.
Which
If
honestly,
you even buy
the
CDs
lyrics-
anymore.
but here's
That was a joke. I know.
no, I get it.
But
honestly,
this song, you could actually articulate all of the lyrics, because a lot of times you're like, oh, it was a cool sounding song, but you walk away, you don't have a set of lyrics stuck in your head. Right. Whereas this one had really good lyrics, and I followed like 90% of it. And like it had a story behind it too, and you could actually, you know, appreciate the song for not just the musicianship, but also for, you know, the poetry of the song.
okay, I get it. Laura just hawked up a loogie.
I just coughed.
Put your hat on.
Talk of a loogie.
Put your
They
hat on.
recorded this at Morristown too.
And
didn't they?
that's my next.
Yeah.
That's my next
Oh,
go-to,
man.
Brad.
Yeah.
This was done at the new location for More Sound Studios. Jim Morris himself put this together, and I follow them on. You know, I follow Nasty Savage on their group page on Facebook. I was watching this as it was kind of going through the motions, and you know, they would put out a little snippet, you know, here and there of just, you know, Jim fucking playing the drums or something, you know, something cool, but not enough to give me like, you know, the fix that I was looking for. But yeah,
Enough to get you hard, but
old
not to
school,
finish.
More Sound Studios recording, you know, and yeah, you couldn't ask for a better place to fucking mix a song. You know, I mean, they hammered it perfectly. I mean, this is amazing.
Now, Jason, you've talked in the past about when you mix a song or you studio a song, the difference between making that in a studio versus what can be played live.
That could be played
you,
live.
you had talked about your stuff that you don't want to record something that you could not play live without the help of a mixer.
You're absolutely
all
right.
that fancy stuff.
Yeah, I typically won't do anything on the record that I can't play live, and like everything that they did on this song, I'm sure they'll pull that off live.
Oh, no doubt.
Oh, they can play that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
So,
doubt.
and that's going to be awesome live. So, when's your show, guys? I'll be there.
And, some people might say, why aren't there any, Ronnie's not hitting the high notes anymore. Dude,
You don't need high notes in every
you
song.
don't need, it's not fucking 1990. It's not 80 fucking 8.
He's hit puberty now.
This guy's doing metal. And I want to say, Ronnie, don't punch me in the face or body slam me when you see me, but I want to
Put you through a
say
TV.
late 50s, early 60s. I could be wrong. Dude is fucking killing it at his age. Amazing. I mean, I would not expect him to fucking be doing the fucking high end notes anymore like that. So,
He's going to get on my phone and say he's 45.
maybe.
Well, if I can say this about vocals, because the vocalists are the first to get slammed, and the first thing that the trolls are going to go after, which those people that are trolls aren't doing anything substantial with their life. That's another topic for another day. But I like Ronnie's vocals on here.
They're perfect.
I'm glad that he didn't do the screams. Here's the thing. A great singer is not and should not ever be defined by how high they can sing, just like a great guitar player shouldn't be defined by how fast they can play. It's all about the tone and that person's unique voice. And Ronnie has Ronnie's voice.
Right.
He doesn't sound like anybody else. So I commend him for that alone. So who cares if he doesn't hit a high note? I know you don't. I don't either. The song sounded great, and he sang it like he wanted the song to be portrayed.
Right.
And that's what matters to me.
And if you take the tone of that song and put a higher pitch adjustment, it just wouldn't sound right.
No, it wouldn't sound right at all.
All right. We're going to delve into their next. They've only released 2 songs on their album.
Did you say delve?
Delve into.
So
I thought you said elves.
I think he's been using that word a day, toilet paper.
Schizoid Platform. I like this song. It's crazy unique, okay?
It is.
But it's original as it gets.
Looking down, humanoid, avoid the void, corrosive minds, divide the night, elevato, mondo bizarro, brainstorm, reform, schizoid platform, brainstorm, reform, schizoid platform. Cloaked clowns looking down, humanoid, avoid the void, corrosive minds, divide the night, elevato, mondo bizarro. Parasites with 7 faces, flaming tombs, burning sand. It's the eve of the beginning. Take a step across the sky, 1,000 nights, 1,000 times. Nothing's fair, but good alone. The blood flower, so surreal. Scarlet scorpions, your next meal. In the land of the blind, one eye is king. All is one divine. The rhythm will set you free. Cryptoid, humanoid, graveside crucified, Plato stepchild, in the eyes of the sculpture. She freak double feature, sparrows bark the sun into being. Leaflet in trees, screen out the moon. Brainstorm, reform, schizoid platform. Brainstorm, reform, schizoid platform. Red cloaked clowns looking down, humanoid, avoid the void, corrosive minds, divide the night, elevato, mondo bizarro. across the sky, 1,000 nights, 1,000 times. Nothing's fair, but good alone. The blood power, so surreal. Scarlet scorpions, your next meal.
You know, I mean, it's fucking amazing,
yeah, it's really
man.
good.
Who's going first on this one?
You want to start it since you were asking?
Yeah, go ahead, Jason.
When I heard Brainwasher, the previous song, I was like, okay, if the whole album's going to be like this, we're good. Then this came out, I'm like, holy crap. So what I like about the song is a lot of things, but it's, I don't want to say completely different from Brainwasher.
I think it is a lot different.
So this has a lot of like that death metal almost meets like old school black metal riffing going on, right? But then you've got Ronnie's vocals behind it, so it gives you something you don't really expect, and you're not going to hear anywhere else. You know, so it's a nice blend
But
of all
those
that
leads
together.
remind me of old school Nasty Savage.
Okay.
You know, like those leads do give me that vibe of old school nostalgia.
Yeah.
So we'll talk to Dave and Kyle about that and who, how they went about, creating this masterpiece, but they're in contact with Dave Austin. He's still a good friend of the band. I don't know how much input was provided or if there was any input, but I would like to ask them that question. And just, I mean, the guitar, the drumming, this song for sure reminds me of the switch ups, of old school. So Brad?
Yeah. That like comparing the two songs, it's like the first song to me was like for an average listener was a little bit more listenable. This one was more like a musician's type song, if that makes any sense, just with the intricacies of the beginning of the song. But I dug it a lot, man. I love really off time shit. And
right.
Like if I can break up rhythms like that, I love doing that kind of stuff. And then when it just kicked into that whole thrash riff towards the center and towards the end, I was like, holy shit, that's really good.
I mean, there's bands where you can say, man, the drumming really made this one work, or the guitars really made this one work, but I think it's a little bit of each of them.
The whole band made that song.
It's everything.
Yeah.
With the tremolo picking and like when it starts out, the death metal style tremolo picking is what like, whoa, this is awesome. And I'll say the double bass comes in at certain parts, like at the right time. It's like, it's not like a full on double bass throughout the whole song, but it's like he comes in at this part. It's like, oh, okay, shit, that's awesome. I love this part. You know what I mean?
And just the mixing of those drums, man. Jim Morse fucking amazing job on fucking mixing those drums. Like they sound so fucking just on point, heavy, not poingy or dingy. It's just right where it needs to be.
They also sound like real drums too.
Yeah, exactly.
I know they are, and I know a lot of bands
yeah.
record real drums, but they sounded very organic, yet studio organic, if that makes sense.
No, they definitely did those analog.
Yeah,
because that whole thing. I'm sure they used real amps and everything. It just has that sound to it. If I'm wrong, then
I'd love to know, guys. They've got
I wish I could have sat in on the recording session on that because it's like,
all right,
we
are going to take a call from Kyle and Dave. So Kyle and Dave, if you guys want to give me a call, you have my cell phone number. We're going to patch you guys in directly to the studio. So we want to talk to you guys about this process and quite a bit more. So shoot me a call. They're going to call me on three-way. Hey, this is the Drinking with Drew show.
Who are you?
This line is reserved for Dave and Kyle. If you're not Dave and Kyle, please disconnect.
Kyle, you in there?
Dave's calling from Texas. Kyle is in St. Pete. So
I'm in Alabama, dude.
Oh, I'm sorry. Alabama. That's right.
What's the difference?
So,
What's the difference?
I think a border at some point. All right, guys. Are we both on?
Alabama.
Yep.
All right, cool.
I'm here.
All right, guys. Dave, Orman, Kyle. I'm going to fuck up your goddamn last name because I keep on wanting to say...
Just say Kyle and I'll fill it in.
Sokol.
Sokol, there you go.
Okay.
Yep.
Like you're so cool,
Now, guys, you've been listening to the show, I think. So we're blown away by this fucking the two songs we heard. So quick few questions. I'm going to separate the questions, but Kyle, tell me how you got this call to get into this project with Nasty Savage, and how did this go down? Because I'm very curious about that.
Okay, well, I've been playing with Nocturnus for a while, and I got a voicemail from Ronnie saying, "Hey, this is Ronnie Galletti from Nasty Savage. Give me a call back." And I'm like, okay, well, why is he calling me and how do you get my number? But he had posted something on Facebook, and I had seen Ronnie play live, and I actually had never like talked to him personally because I was like, so how did you get my number? But he had posted something because they were having some stuff was going on with Scott, and he went out and asked some of his friends who he would get recommended to play bass. James Murphy, everybody knows who James Murphy is.
Yep.
So he actually told Ron and gave him my number and said, hey, give Kyle a call if you're looking for a bass player to play with Nasty Savage. So that's how he got my number. James recommended me to him, which was, I'm honored because I've known James for a very, very long time. And I wasn't expecting to call it. James didn't tell me that he told him this or anything like that. So when I told James that I tried out and auditioned and that I got the gig, James was like, well, that's awesome. He goes, he was super excited that I actually got the gig. He goes, yeah, I didn't know anybody else that I thought could just step right in because they had a tour or we had a show coming up in Tulsa, 2 Minutes to Tulsa in Oklahoma.
Is that a country song, 2 Minutes to Tulsa?
Yeah.
410 to Yuma.
But,
country.
Yeah, by Iron Skinner's.
Yeah. When I was talking to Ronnie, I said, hey, well, there's a catch. I want to do it. I mean, especially if Nasty Savage calls me and says, you want to play for them? Of course, I'm going to, you don't say no, for one.
Right.
So I said yes. And I was like, I'll get forgiveness from my wife later if she says,
exactly.
But yeah, I was like, for sure. And so I talked to Pete and Jim and David and said, hey, what songs do I need to learn just to get some charted out and then go try out? But I told Ronnie, I said, well, there's a catch because I was leaving like the next week for like 2.5 weeks to go to Greece to play with Wade Black's Astronomica. Wade Black, former Crimson Glory singer.
Oh, dude.
So we were going to Greece for a couple weeks to do a little short tour and play some festivals. And I was like, but then we have to come back. And I came back on that Sunday, and then we left on Thursday to go play Tulsa. So I had to like learn the set really like while I was on tour actually is when I was charting stuff out.
Right.
In hotel rooms. And I came back, we rehearsed a couple times. And that's when I first met David Orman in person too, because he was there to rehearse with us before we left, and we did Tulsa, and it was a great time. So I was excited that I got the call, and it's been a blast so far. And I grew up watching Nasty Savage because I'm from this area,
right?
Like, and just talking to you about last night about prior bands that we used to play shows together.
Right, and that blew my mind. That when I said Artistic Butchery, you're like, yeah, we played shows together. I'm like,
yeah, because my old Cadaver Mass band and Baptist. I remember Artistic Butchery and all those, Degradation and Rape Tape and all these other stuff. All these bands we used to play with, and I'm like, we played many shows with you guys. So I'm like, it's crazy to me to even think about that. So,
right,
small world,
So yeah, and that's like, man, just. How that works out sometimes, man. So that's awesome. Dave, were you and Kyle given the same exact set list to learn and it kind of worked out the same way?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, yeah, we did get the same set list. I mean, we had a couple other songs that we were playing at the time, and then we kind of washed those out. But yeah, pretty much the same exact set list. I mean, I came in, it's been almost 3 years now, almost 3 years. Dave Austin bowed out, right? And then I used to play in a band with Jim Coker and Pete Sykes called Contorted. It's a death metal band, Okay. We did an album together called Clinically Dead, and then I was playing in that band and a band called Fast Taker. They were this 80s metal power metal band, and just family, man. Family came into the equation, and I had to quit it all. I was like, okay, well, I'm done. I had to step off, and it was like 10 years. I finally started talking to Pete again, and I was like, hey, man, I'm writing new stuff, but it was 7-string stuff, like really progressive technical death metal. And I was like, if you want to get involved with that, that would be awesome. So me and Pete started talking. It wasn't even 2 months after we were talking, Dave Austin left. And I only knew about Nasty Savage, just a few songs, Wow. I didn't even know he was in Nasty Savage at the time. And I'm more like, I knew more about Gardy Lou than I did Nasty Savage. Well, you know, Pete reached out to me. He's like, hey, we need a guitar player. What are you doing? I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, let's do this, you know?
Right.
And yeah, so I got pretty much the same set list. There was a couple other songs we were doing, but those came off the list and stuff. But yeah, pretty much the same situation. And within like 3 practices, we were playing live in Orlando for the first time.
Damn. All right. So here's the big question. When it came to recording, I think there's a happy medium maybe between old Nasty Savage and also maybe intertwining your own style. But I mean, I think you guys nailed it as far as capturing both. Did Dave Austin have any input into the writing, or did you guys just kind of...
I talked to Dave Austin a few times before we went in there and like, because I was really like the pushing force into writing. I was like, let's do something. If we're going to do something, let's write, you know? And then Ronnie started talking to people, and he got us hooked up with FHM and all this stuff, and got us a budget lined up for Jim Morris. But I actually sent Dave Austin a song through Facebook Messenger. I'm like, hey, check this out. And it was one of the first songs I wrote for the album. It's Aztec Elegance. And I pretty much wrote a score to that movie Apocalypto by Mel Gibson. You know? So that's like the first song I sent it to Dave, and Dave's like, holy fuck, that's awesome. But that was the only song, but I was never like, hey, how does this, you know, does this sound good enough or anything like that? Because like when we first started writing for this album, me and Pete and Jim and everybody, we had Scott Carino at the time.
Right.
And we were just like, how do we write for this new album? Do we want it to sound like the old Nasty Savage? Do we want it to be like, you know, I can't write death metal for Nasty Savage. It's just not going to work. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and Ronnie's like, dude, do whatever you want, bro. Do whatever you want. You know, this is 2024 when this thing's going to be released. You know, it's a new chapter, that sort of thing. But I still, like when I was writing, I went back to all the old records, listened through everything, you know?
Gotcha.
And I'm like, I just want to do something because I'm filling such big shoes with, you know, Dave Austin's such a killer guitar player, the stuff that he created with Nasty Savage. And I just wanted to create all the songs that I wrote. And like me working remote with the band, because at the time I was in Texas when I got the call, you know, so me working remotely with the band, I mean, I brought 4 songs to the table. Pete brought 4 songs to the table, and that's kind of how we worked it, you know? So everything that I did, I pretty much was like, I want to make it like Nasty Savage, but I also want to make it like my own.
Right.
But
That's
I didn't want to lose any of that at all, you know, because that's like, who are we now? We're a death metal band. You know, no, we can't do that. So,
right. Jason, any questions?
No, I mean, I commend you guys, man. It's phenomenal. So, I mean, I have so many questions about the recording process and all that, but that's probably a topic to cover for another time, hopefully. But no, it's phenomenal. I mean, I hear like sort of that death metal style of guitar. Like if you were to put some growl vocals to it, yeah, that would have worked, right? But I respect that. So much respect the way you guys did that. You listened to the older Nasty Savage, but you also wanted your twist. So, and I mean, that shows the maturity of a professional musician.
Right.
Obviously, you're dropping egos. You know, you want to capture that feel and still be Nasty Savage, but you also want your own stamp on it too, which is phenomenal, guys.
Yeah, and
it's great.
And like this entire recording process, I mean, we owe everything to Jim Morris. That guy's such a maniac.
Crazy, right?
He's a phenomenal worker. And like we went in there with the budget in mind. We had, you know, we had to do this. Like the whole thing was 8 days, right?
Wow.
But it was spread out. So it wasn't like, okay, well, tomorrow we're doing this. You know, It was like, okay, well, a month later we're doing this. You know, so it's kind of strange in that aspect. But still at the same time, when Jim showed up, man, he was nonstop, balls to the wall the whole time, throwing in, you know, hey, you guys should do this or that or whatever. And like he's not only is a producer, but you know, he's like a conductor in a way.
Right.
And the way it came out, the reason why it sounded like raw, but you know, with production, is because we only did 2 guitar tracks, 1 per side.
Oh, I love to hear
crazy,
that, man.
right?
I love to hear that.
Because there's so many bands that do like 5 or 6 or 7 guitar tracks, and it's just like over the top. I mean, like I don't even like that for death metal, you know. So
right.
To each their own, you know.
Yeah,
it is
no,
what
I
it
get
is.
it.
But yeah, if it wasn't for Jim Morris, man, it wouldn't be what it is, really.
Yeah.
He
Isn't
made
he
it
the guy
happen.
from the Doors?
No, Joe. It's
Well,
not.
you got this album, these songs, they have a lot of clarity in everything.
Yeah.
Did you guys go analog or digital on that stuff?
It's all digital.
Oh, it is.
All his new
I
recording
think
stuff
More
is all
Sound
digital,
is all digital now. I don't even think
Really?
you can do analog at More Sound.
So you run like through Kempers or quads or what are you using?
Oh God, you're asking the wrong one.
Oh, okay.
You're asking the wrong one. I don't know anything about that and Aptos and all that stuff. So
Oh, the
That's
Atmos.
another
Yeah, Dolby Atmos.
another story for another campfire. I don't know what that is.
I got
Then it costs a lot of money.
Like literally when I heard it, it literally sounded all analog to me. Like the drums and everything, because it didn't sound over processed. And I was like, wow, they really have this like, like almost like a 90s, 80s feel to it, but it's modern.
Well, Jim actually used it in a kit that was in house. That Jim Morris is like, here, you can use this kit. It's some off-brand thing, but it sounds awesome.
Sounded
He
great.
actually melted the kick pedals. I'm not kidding you. When we were doing that Brainwasher song, he melted the kick pedals to where the plastic pieces on the front were stuck to the double bass head.
Wow.
I got pictures. I can send it to you, Drew, man. Yeah, he melted the front of them off.
That is
Wow, holy
insane.
shit.
Damn.
But yeah, we got a really good drum tone out of there. Drum
Oh,
sound.
it sounds great.
It does.
The guitar tones were ripping. I really like it. And even when you step up and do your solo parts, we only did solos for half a day.
Wow.
And then the two songs that you guys heard, I want to throw this name out there. If you guys know who Jerry Outlaw is, he plays solos on both of those songs. Yeah.
Really?
It's like we all have solos, but we also said, "Hey, Jerry, we need you to fill in a couple spots," and he stepped right up to the plate. Boom, knocked out of the park.
Now, what is his
2 or
past?
3 takes.
I'm trying to think who that is.
You may know who Jerry is. He was the original when they were signed to Iris Records when Jenna Tortures first got signed to the label. He was their guitar player then.
Okay.
Played with John Oliva and that. Yeah.
He was. When I played, I filled in for the reunion shows for Messiahx and Blackout. He was their guitar player, Blackouts, and Messiahx's lead guitar player when Eric died. Eric Gibson died. So
yeah.
And then he was in John Oliva's Pain. And he does a Frank Zappa tribute band, Bogus Pomp, stills too.
Okay. Very cool,
yeah,
man.
He's a shredder, man. He's like a well-known just metal shredder. He's been a good friend of mine for a long time, and so he was gonna he knew Scott too, so he was gonna try to get in and play some solos before. And then when Scott left, and I was talking to Jerry, and he had mentioned that, so I went back and asked Dave and Pete, said, "Hey, you guys, he's still interested to play. He'd love to come in and record some solos in there."
He did some stuff with Brutality too. Yeah.
Yeah. And Dave and Pete were just like, "Hell yeah. Bring them on." So
unless I got it right. No, really.
Man, I tell you what, I miss Brutality. I wish they would fucking pop up again. Just something, man.
Yeah.
I miss that band. So what was it like going through I know, Kyle, you were kind of crazy doing your schedule, but when you got thrown with all these shows, I mean, obviously you're producing a new album, you're going to have to basically tour. How did that go? Like personal life, family life, business life, like how did that affect you?
Yeah, for me, I mean, it was we were like recording songs like Dave and Pete would record on their phones, like recordings of the actual tune, so I could try to see how to, at least the basic riff and everything. But I just kind of engulfed myself in the old Nasty Savage to see how, like Fred, the original bass player, Fred Dregish and Richard Bateman, I was a huge fan of growing
right.
up. I played a couple shows with Gardy Lou, and he's just a great bass player himself. And Scott Carino, obviously, I'm a huge fan of him when he was in Fester.
Yeah, man, old school Fester. Jesus, man, what a band.
So it was big shoes to fill, and
but when Ronnie's like, "Hey guys, we're doing these shows out of state," and I just see like a new flyer. I feel like every week where you guys playing a new show. Like it's like, what the fuck? You guys are nonstop.
Once a month, pretty much. And it was we went to Colombia for a few days, and Oklahoma to Texas, now to Germany in a few weeks, just a couple weeks. So, and then we play Swarm Fest. We'll do, I guess it'll be my first show with Nocturnus and my first show with Nasty Savage in Tampa. So we're playing
at the Mug. Yeah.
both Nocturnus and Nasty Savage are playing that. So
I need y'all to squirrel the Drinking with Drew show in on the media creds. Got some video I'd like to do of the show.
Yeah, that would be cool. You guys.
We still got me and Ronnie got to get up there before we go to Germany. That way I can wear a Drinking with Drew shirt
man.
while I'm playing in Germany.
Hell yeah, bro. That'd be so cool. So we got Nasty Ronnie coming on. He's going to come on after you guys. But before that happens, what do you foresee the next 5 years of Nasty Savage? What do you see?
Me, Dave here. I'm going to say we're going to do another album. There's been a lot of press. We've been doing a lot of interviews for this album. I think it's going to pop off really well. I think definitely another album within the next year and a half.
Wow. Okay.
That's just, like me personally, I want to push it. I know I have a side project going on, but still, this here is number one, and we're going to push it to the limit, man, as much as we can. Like Ronnie always says, we're in the fourth quarter. So I know he wants to get out there and make things happen. Is everybody in?
Right, exactly.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah, and I plan on doing with Kyle about doing another album with these guys too. So I mean, I'd love to see it go for another decade.
We're gonna go as long as Ronnie can handle it.
Right.
As long as Ronnie can, still be smashing.
And I'm not gonna tell you his age. He'll tell you that.
Right. Yeah. I think I was off a little bit.
As long as he can go and smash fucking televisions and do his thing.
That's amazing.
We'll go as long as he can. Yep.
We clear out all the local pawn shops wherever we go with all these.
You have to. You have to. I mean, you can't smash a plasma on your head. It doesn't have the same effect smashing a plasma TV on your head. So, you got to go old school.
Well, the other cool thing about this album, you guys got the press kit, right? Drew, you got it?
Yep.
Did you hear the one we did with Obituary?
Let me pull it up because I was looking at that earlier.
So ask Ronnie when he gets on the phone with you if you can play that song. I would be 100% down with you guys playing that song. It's an old one that Nasty Savage recorded on the demo tapes, the
Witches Sabbath
demo tapes. Witches Sabbath,
yeah.
Yes. But we recorded this one with Donald and John Tardy from Obituary to bring things back in full circle. Those guys are awesome, man.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to play it.
They're playing drums and and he's singing along like a duet with Ronnie. It's a romantic duet. It's perfect.
Romantic. Yeah, brother.
Yeah.
So that song usually has the falsettos.
See,
this time it's awesome, man.
That's badass.
Now.
Yeah, that would be amazing. And again, man, we are talking about 2 songs off of a full album you guys just released. So I feel like we're probably talking a little bit prematurely, but I love what I've heard so far. You can keep quiet or you can spill your guts. Is the rest of the album similar, or are we going to be thrown into a little bit of a shock? What is there anything that we're not going to expect?
The rest of the album takes you on a journey because you have, 2 different guitar players that we wrote at different times. We weren't together when we wrote this stuff. And me personally, my writing style is totally different than what Pete writes. And then, like I said, I also wanted to keep it true, but to Nasty Savage, but I also wanted to put my little thing on there. So there's a lot in it for everybody. I mean, you got your really super heavy stuff, then you have your slow acoustic doom stuff that's in there as well too. So, I mean, the whole album takes you on a trip. It really does. There's nothing that sounds the same on it. You're not going to have most albums you put in, most records that you put on, dude, every song, click, I'm going to the next track. What's going on here? Every song sounds the same. This one, I mean, it really, to me, in my opinion, it takes you on a journey, man. It really does. And
nice.
Everything is different. So there's a lot out there for people that that aren't really into, let's say, super death or thrash, and it just takes you all over the place.
So,
and I would say there's no filler songs. There's no, just filler B-side songs from.
Right.
You could mix any of these songs and make them the first track, and it would be just as good, I think. So.
Okay. When is the full album going to be available?
October 10th.
October 10th.
I know. Yep, that's when it's released. When we play in Germany on the 4th, we're going to be at the FHM Records booth over there, and they're actually selling vinyls and CDs there. So it's kind of getting pre-release party over there. But I don't think we're going to have anything after that. There's going to be a lot of people there. They're already at like 90% sold out. So.
Nice.
Yeah. They're gonna sell all that. You're lucky you ordered a marble one. I won't even get a marble one. I wanted a marble vinyl.
Bro, as soon as I saw that, I'm like snag. Like had to grab it.
Oh, man.
Had to grab it.
I'm waiting on the picture disc now. I'm like, I need a picture disc.
Yeah, they posted there's only like 4 marbles left on their site.
Nice. Well, that's what I told fucking you guys. I'm like, I'm gonna buy it and never open it, because to me that's like the ultimate fucking collectible. I will get a CD and I'll get some fucking other, avenues for the, content, but that album is prime collectible. It's going to be in my collection, and I got
a CD for you when we come in. I'm going to give you a CD, bro.
Well, obviously you guys are going to get the Drinking with Drew media pack. A couple stickers and a shirt.
Hell yeah.
And an ashtray.
And an ashtray.
And a koozie.
And a koozie. Yeah, made by Keller, one of our favorite fans ever. So, yeah, man. And fucking Kyle, let's hit up a Rowdy's game, because you are a Rowdy's fucking season pass holder, and we go over there quite a bit. So we definitely need to do that, because I'm a huge soccer fan, and we go over there. We enjoy having some beers and watching the game over there.
Hey, I try to be there at every one. Sometimes I miss it just because we're doing something with Nocturnus on Saturday night. But usually I can talk them out of it and say, hey, I'm going to go to a Rowdy's games and stuff.
Yeah. Hey, we'll do a separate show on the Rowdies. Maybe our own little podcast about,
He used to do that
all
their
stuff
too.
Oh, really? Yeah. That's awesome. All right, guys. Hey, I could probably sit here and talk to you a bit longer. I do have Ronnie coming up after you guys at 8:30, so I do want to get him on the phone. And definitely thank you for your time. Guys, open invite. Anytime you want to call into the show, you have my cell phone number. Call in. It goes directly into the board. You guys will be live on air. We can talk to you about the weather, metal, and your mama's fried chicken. I don't care. We talk about anything on this show. So, whatever you want to come in the studio, Riverview, Florida, the capsflorida.com studios is where we're at. So it's a pain in the ass to get here, especially from Tennessee. But Kyle, you're probably easier trip over the Skyway.
Yeah, it's not a bad drive for me. I'll come over one night when you guys are doing a broadcast and I'll meet up with Brad and hang out with you guys. So
man, because
I'll bring a 6-pack of beer for everybody too.
Yeah, perfect. So we'll crank up the amp. I have my guitars in the background here. We have a 5150 in studio that we crank up and jam out on every once in a while. So you guys are welcome to do that too, man. So cool, guys. Thank you so much for fucking hanging out. I love the album, and definitely appreciate what you're putting out. I want to I will be at the Tampa show, and hopefully up front with my camera doing some video for you guys.
Hey, well, that'd be killer, man. That'd be killer.
Oh, yeah. All right, guys.
Much appreciated, bro.
All right. We will talk to you soon.
Later.
Hey, thanks to everybody there, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
All right, guys.
We'll be watching in. See ya.
Awesome. All right. Kyle and Dave from fucking Nasty Savage. I like what they're doing. I mean,
but just talk,
chatty chat, like old women playing poker.
It's like they were on a podcast or something. They were being asked questions. Gosh.
I'm not used to this format around here.
Right.
I'd love to dig into the whole recording process, though, man. How the writing and composition and how they came up with this and the recording parts.
Yeah. I'm going to ask Ronnie about that, a little bit, but I think, and I'm trying not to talk too prematurely because I've only heard 2 songs.
Sure.
Okay. So I'm just going off of what I've heard. They've done a good job of mixing old with new. Is that a good statement?
That's what I'm getting. Yeah. I mean, me going back, not really listening to Nasty Savage in my early years, which again, I hate that I didn't know about them, but now having listened to the early stuff over the past few months, and in listening to this, I would say, it's a phenomenal job of mixing the two together.
I have no doubt that the stage show will be equally as done well, because Ronnie's not going to let a stage show falter. I mean, he's always been a performer. He's always brought the fucking.
There's a live clip of them in Brooklyn.
Okay.
It's on YouTube.
Is it?
Yeah, it's good. That's good.
Okay.
Well, I think that's where a lot of bands, I think, kind of, I don't want to say mess up, but a lot of bands will either they'll try to recapture their old stuff and it kind of sounds the same, but not really, or B, they'll try to go off and do something completely different. So going back to them merging the old with the new, I think they did a phenomenal job of that, dude.
Well, he did it right because he went back and listened to the old stuff. I was going to chime in on that because when I was in All Out War, I kind of did the same thing when we were writing Into the Killing Fields. Of course, I was playing all those songs for a long time, but I still like submerged myself into that when we started writing that album, and it helps bring out that like flavor of the band because before All Out War, I was just write my own thrash stuff that sounded nothing like those guys at all. But when I had the opportunity to play with those guys, it was like I did the same thing. I just kind of like submersed myself into like even the old demos and listened to all that shit to get the feel of how they wanted the songs to be, composed. So it helps. So he did a good job. He did a really good job.
We have a slight problem. I think Brad and I's voice is putting Pajama Joe to sleep over here. So,
well, we're not talking about
to sleep.
We're not talking about math. We're not talking about naked women.
Math and chicks.
We're not talking about
woodworking.
Woodworking.
Joe's wood, yeah.
So I know. I'm sorry, Joe.
That's okay.
I mean, if you want to pipe in, you can ask a question, Joe.
No, I know my lane, and I'll let you guys have your conversation.
But, all right, guys, we are going to call Nasty Ronnie. Yeah, just for now. Yeah, let me do it. And give me a black and tan. There should be a black and tan in there.
You want the rest of Brad's beer?
There's another one of those.
I thought I had one. Oh,
no, Joe didn't drink his.
Oh, jeez. Okay. I'm not going to try. I thought I already drank your beer.
That's Joe's.
This is Joe's. You didn't drink yours either?
I had a couple of sips.
Oh, my God. We got a bunch of pussies in the house tonight. Okay.
I just don't like coffee drinkers.
You are what you eat.
Or coffee.
All right. New Yorkers.
Savory.
Is it a New York thing?
No.
You guys, New Yorkers don't like coffee?
Oh.
How do I get the Scott like that eating pussy?
I don't know.
Man.
Coffee. I never drank coffee. I just never liked it.
I'm going to pee before I talk to Ronnie.
Yeah, let's pee.
And you got that from me not drinking coffee.
Yes.
Jeez.
Give me 2 seconds.
I want to know if this beer has actual caffeine in it. If it's coffee flavored, do they put real coffee in it, and then you're going to be buzzed all night long?
It's all about the bean.
I don't think it has that much coffee. I think it does have some, but I don't think it's like overwhelming. You know what I mean?
It's super strong for me, but I'm not a coffee drinker, so.
Oh, stop it, guys! And you're no coffee.
Hey, I'm all natural, baby. I don't need stimulants in my life as I drink a beer. I don't need to be buzzed or anything. Excuse me while I drink this.
Man, cool songs though. Mm-hmm. It's while Drew's taking a leak. Should we go play Crossfire with Drew? Let's not do that. No, those songs are like a breath of fresh air though. There's a lot of great bands out there. I know people knock on today's music. I get it because a lot of it's but this is like these 2 tunes are like a breath of fresh air. You know what I mean?
It was just done well.
This is something I can actually sit back and just listen to and enjoy. You know what I mean? Drew's back.
Yeah, the songs were done well, and they didn't butcher, change it. So it's why are they called Nasty Savage?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it's clearly Nasty Savage. So yeah, no, they did. All of them did a really good job on the album. I was impressed. I thought it was really good.
I agree. All right, guys, we're going to call Nasty Ronnie. See how this goes.
Hope he's not body slamming somebody.
Oh, dude.
Probably wants to body slam me.
Hello.
Nasty Ronnie himself. Drinking with Drew show. Thank you for taking our call.
What's up, man?
Man.
Are you guys drinking?
We are drinking. We're about 3 in right now.
Maybe 4.
Tell you what, man, we listened to Brainwasher, amazing accolades. Everybody's fucking freaking out. Schizoid Platform. I think you guys are onto something here with these songs. Now, hear what I told Jason and Brett. I'm a little nervous because I've only heard 2 songs from the album. Are we to expect more of the same from what we've heard?
Man, I'm telling you, when you hear Southern Fried Homicide and you hear Aztec Elegance and there's an instrumental called The Sixth Finger. I mean, Operation Annihilate, Blood Syndicate. I mean, the hits just kind of keep coming, man. It's like each song tells its own story. It's like, how you turn on, not trying to say anything, but, some bands, track 1, track 5, 7, 8, they all kind of sound the same. You know, you can say, oh yeah, that sounds just like the first song kind of. Yeah, that's their style. But, you know, I don't think we have that. One song sounds all the same stuff. Every one has its own, you know, identity. And, man, I'm telling you, it's really exciting. It's been 20 years, man, since our last album, you know, shit. It's an exciting time for me.
Let me tell you, as an old school Nasty Savage fan, I was listening to you guys when I was 15 years old on vinyl. I was a little heartbroken, you know, when things broke up. All right. And I'll be honest with you, it hurt me a little bit, kicked in the nuts. I am amazed at how you brought this back. Can you just kind of give me some insight onto how you did it and how it just, it seemed to have just gone smoothly and very well. How did you do that?
Well, you know, it's like 20 years ago we did Psycho. How about Psycho? The guy paid us a lot of money to get back together and do an album. So we did it, you know, but after that, it was kind of like, okay, not much going on now. Let's just move on with life. And then a couple of years went by and there was no promotion, marketing or anything, you know. It was just a small time guy who wanted us to do this album. And he was working with Ben with Lowbrow and Ben with Gardy Lou. And then I met him and he was a big Savage fan. I said, hey, why don't we do a Savage album? Oh yeah. Okay. So we did it. But that was it. So I started talking to some other people a few years later, and David Austin heard that I was trying to get a band together and be Nasty Savage. We had some South American dates, some promoter, you know, was asking about us. So I talked to Dave. I said, hell, man, let's fucking do this again. So we just started jamming, and we Curtis was gone, Ben was gone, you know, Richard was still around, and then he was jamming with Jim Coker, who plays drums. There's some Brutality.
Right.
He's pretty much legendary guy around here.
Yep.
Great drummer. He's a good guy, and he was with Richard. And then we needed a bass player, and Richard was with us until he passed away, unfortunately, and rest in peace, brother.
Definitely, man.
Love that guy. But he jammed with us, so we started playing, and then we got Pete Sykes, was another friend of Jim's, and we probably jammed for about 4 years or so, and then we'd actually recorded some demo songs, and we were going to try to shop it, but we just never finished it. We just never even got to the leads or anything, so we'd like, fuck it. And then we played for a few years, and then we played Mexico 2 years ago, and after that, Dave was like, man, I'm hanging it up, bro. I'm just going to quit for, you know, I'm done. I've done enough, whatever. So I said, all right, brother. I said, it's not the end of Nasty Savage. You know, I'm still going to, I can't, you know, I got a bucket list. I want to do something else.
Right.
You know, we're like in the fourth quarter of life, man. If you're in the 60s, you know, how many more years do you have, you know? So you got to make the most of it, you know. Joy and sorrow today and tomorrow. What greater crime than the loss of time, you know? Make the most of it. So I was like, fuck, man. And Pete, do you know anybody? Meanwhile, Richard passed away, and we kind of were broken up at that time, not playing a lot. But then we got Scott Carino, who was in Death, and did some other stuff with Fester and some other band. Great bass player. And then, you know, he edged out kind of right about the time when after Dave did, and you know, he was still around, and then I just got this record deal going, and then Scotty was apprehensive, and he was gone. So I go, fuck, man, we got to get a bass player. So I was like, what am I gonna do? I don't really know a lot of people. So I put a post out and said, who's the hottest bass player right now for a project? I didn't say it was for Nasty Savage, just for a project, looking for a good bass player. And James Murphy, a legendary dude in our metal community, he goes, hey, Nasty, how about Kyle Sokol? Call him. And I'm like, cool, you got his number? And he gave me his number, man, and I called Kyle, and Kyle was like, oh, hell yeah, I'll learn that live set you're doing, because we were going to 2 minutes to Tulsa really quick. It was happening within a month. And he was going on a tour to Greece with Astronomica, some other band, and he's the bass player of Nocturnus. And what I like about him, he's a captain in the army. You know, he's regimented, fucking bad. He's like 6 foot something, big guy. We call him Spider-Man on stage because he moves all around. He's really, really a great guy. He plays the bass real up high. So anyway, so we got Kyle in the band just in time. He comes back from Greece with about 2 days or less to go to Tulsa to play his first gig with us, and kind of after a practice or two. And then right after that, which was a success, right after that, we started giving him these new songs that we already were writing. And so he had a really cram session, and that's how it kind of came together. But I knew Frank, the owner of the record company, who did Siren, local guys here, my friends at Ed Aborn and those guys, did a great job with them. And he was a real Florida fan, but he was also a fan of Nasty Savage and Siren. And he was really a fan, but he had a record company. And I'm like, damn, you know what? Frank has a Harley too. He has a house here in Port Charlotte.
Yeah.
You know, so we go riding, and I would every time he'd come in town, he'd ride up here, and then I'd take him out by the phosphate mines. We go on like a couple of 100-mile drive rides on our bikes and shit. So this time he was coming into town, and I said, man, just come over early, stay at my house. We'll leave early in the morning, and we'll hit it. So
awesome.
I made him this big breakfast that morning, and I said, dude, you know what we need to do? I go, we just need to do a Nasty Savage album. He goes, oh, Ron, that would be great. Let's do it. Let's figure it out. So I was like, all right. So while we were riding, we got all the way out to Fort Meade, all the way on that other side of the state, and you know, we went to a Beef O'Brady's, and that's where we kind of etched out the contract on a napkin or something, you know, one of those stories. So I was able to tell the guys, hey guys, guess what? We're fucking gonna do an album, okay? And got a contract, everybody to sign it, and you know, we had a commitment. We didn't have to shop a demo and invest in a demo and all that shit. So I mean, we had a timeline because it's got to be ready by the time we go to Europe for Keep It True Festival in early October, which is coming up right in a couple of weeks. They're celebrating 40 years of Nasty Savage. So dude, I was like, dude, and it's time for the next chapter of Nasty Savage. And David Orman, which Pete brought in Dave Orman as a guitarist, and you know, guy's an incredible guitarist, and you know, and Pete's a shredder, and they're all shredders, and they were played in Contorted together a long time ago. So it's got history, you know. It's like, so man, I'm not a musician, you know. I have vision, and I have concepts, and I have, you know, I'm a singer, but I'm really not even a singer. I just play one on stage, you know, but, you know, so I talked to them. I said, dude, you guys, this is the next chapter right here in this room, us. I said, I want you to make it like $6 Million Man, faster, stronger, you know, more powerful, you know, just take it to another level, dude. And they were like, oh shit, man, I know they're big shoes to fill, but we want to keep it true to the old school. But I go, dude, don't worry about nothing but going forward, not the rear view. So I kind of inspired them, you know, as much as I could, but I knew we were in good hands because all these guys were really Savage fans from the old days. So it was an opportunity for us all, man. And then once I started I would give him a song title. I said, look, I got this song title, Dave, or Pete, I got this song title called Schizoid Platform. I want something like fucking give it to me, man. And Pete come up with that. And he goes, well, there's a slow talking spots where you can do something creepy and this. I go, I got you, man. I got you. Just give me that shit. And then when I would hear each song, that's when I start putting my shit together for it. And of all these words and phrases and rhymes, and because you gotta rhyme, man, you gotta intrigue your own self, your inner mind, to write your lyrics, to tell these short stories of mayhem, reality. You know, it's really reality of life, and they're important things to me, you know, because I'm a word man. I'm not a bird man. So it's like, it's like, man, I was so into it when David sent me. I said, dude, I got this title called Aztec Elegance. You know, I want to write about the Aztecs. You know, they pulled the hearts out and the people, and they sacrificed them to the sun god so their crops would grow. And then all of a sudden they're all gone off the universe. The Mayans, the Aztecs. And I got this title called Aztec Elegance. I go, I wanted to have this like Spanish guitar intro, eerie sounding, you know, and he's like, Spanish guitar? What are you talking about? He goes, Mayans? He goes, I go, yeah, you know. Anyway, so then he comes up with this cool ass tune, and it's like, dude, that's perfect. You know, so I just gave him some ideas, but these guys did all the work, man. And you know, it's a team effort. And then working back with Jim Morris at Morris Sound Recording Studio, where we started it all, I had to do a few things, man. I'm sitting here on an island like a rock, you know. I'm by myself holding this flag of Nasty Savage, you know, from the 80s. I'm like, what are people going to say? They're like, it's not Nasty Savage without that guy or this guy. It's not really this. I'm like, fuck it. I can't go back, man. I just got to deal with today. That's all we have. So I'm like, we're going to fucking do this, and I'm going to give it 110%. So, but I had to do a few things in my mind. So I kind of Trump moves, man. I went and got back to the studio with, Morris Sound recording with Jim Morris. He wanted to work with us because he knew how much history we had together and really what Nasty Savage did to pivot that second wave of fucking metal that came out of Tampa Bay. It was after we recorded at Morris Sound, and bands were coming in from all over. Then Death, Deicide, Morbid, all them bands just populated and took control, and that's killer. But it started from Morris Sound, so I got that. Then I had to find some kind of cool thing for the artwork, and I said, I got to find Vandekar, but he's been dead for fucking 38 years. So I Googled it and got some kind of response from somebody, and it was his grandson. He goes, yeah, I know who you are. He goes, and I still live at the house. I said, holy shit. I go, well, this is what we're doing. I need some canvas, brother. You got anything? He goes, I got a few, but you're welcome to come. I went the next day with David Orman, the guitarist. We went to Vandekar's house 30 years later, 40 years later, and it was amazing. All the shit was overgrown and all the statues and the gargoyle on the roof and shit. So then I got inside. I was taking pictures the whole time, got inside, and that's where I saw the canvas. He's only had like 2 or 3. I go, this is perfect. I said, it's almost the same. You know how painters will paint like 10 paintings, kind of the same but different. Then they'll move on to something else. It almost looks like it was during the time he did Indulgence, man. So I took pictures of it. I said, this is going to work. So now I had the Vandekar connection, and then we had the Morris Sound connection. So another thing I wanted to do is something off the demo tape. So I said, shit, Witches Sabbath has never been done. We're going to redo Witches Sabbath, but I'm going to put a call into some very special friends of mine who I respect immensely, John and Donald Tardy from Obituary.
Nice.
I said, dude, I want you guys to be on this fucking song. We want to redo Witches Sabbath. And right away, DT said, I'm in, brother. I'll play the drums. I didn't even think he'd play the drums. I thought he'd just do backups.
Right.
He goes, but you're going to have to talk to John, because they're so strategic, those guys, man. They don't do this for anybody either. So I talked to John. He agreed to do it, and they did it right between coming back from Australia and going on that Amon or Ma tour. And they worked with the timeline that we were working with. They delivered exactly what they did. John saying, it's badass if you haven't heard it, man. It's so killer. We took a classic song and made it epic, with that shit.
Well, brother, I am down to hear it. If you want to share it with us tonight, I don't know how you can get that to me. Text it, however you want to do it.
If you got that press kit, what did they send you? Just 2 songs?
Let me see what I have here.
I think they sent you all the songs.
But they didn't give me links to play them, I don't think. Let me see.
Anyway, if you find it, you can play it. But, you have Brainwasher and you have Schizoid Platform. Those are 2, getting back to your original question, every song has its own identity, it's really cool. And one other thing I had to bring back is, so when people saw the album cover or the art, they go, oh, that's Nasty Savage. I remember that from the old days. Right away, it wasn't some AI shit, fire and flames and devil faces, it was real art off a canvas. Right. And it took us back to where we began. So people associated with it, the old school people, right away, I broke that stereotype that it's, this is the same thing, man. It's Nasty Savage. Then the other thing I did is I got with Fred Dragishin as our first bass player, the mastermind of the early days of Nasty Savage, writing, that progressive, maidenish, unbelievable sound that Fred wrote on the first album. And he was going to do the song Jeopardy Room, but it took him too long. He lives in Turkey. So I was like, man, sorry, we had to go ahead and write it, Fred. He sent it to us, and it was like just bass lines. So all the guys are going, man, we don't need that song. We got our own. I go, dude, you guys don't understand. It's Fred Dragishin, and it's part of what my plan is. So they go, oh, okay. I said, well, hell, let's just pick out a part in this song that's a cool part. We'll just use it as the intro, and we'll call it Invocations. So that's what we did. So I've got the connection with Fred Dragishin, Vandekar, Morris Sound, and brought the Tardy brothers in, because what they did for us with 10,000 Ways to Die video has over 7 million views. They featured Nasty Savage doing Unchained Angel at the beginning of that animated video. It's, they always mention us in interviews and stuff. So I just thought I need to, one time when I lived at home with my parents in the 80s, my mom said, Ron, there's 2 boys at the door. They want to talk to you. So I go, all right. So I go to the door. These 2 kids are on bicycles with the banana seats and the sissy bars and the high bars. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? He goes, are you Nasty Ronnie? I said, yeah. And they go, well, we're John and Donald Tardy, and we want to know how to start a band.
That's awesome.
I go, hold on a minute. You guys found my house in the 80s. There's no Google Maps.
Right.
I go, you found my house and you knocked on my door and you asked how to start a band? You guys are fucking brilliant, man. I go, I love this. I go, let's go to Lithia Springs, jump in my Chevelle, and we'll go throw the Frisbee for about 5 hours and we'll do some schooling. We'll do some schooling, brother.
That's awesome.
So now we did this album. And, I did a video behind the scenes, the making of Jeopardy Room, Nasty Savage, all this shit. I interviewed everybody. So I really didn't get a chance to interview the Tardy brothers, but I did get Donald briefly when he dropped off the hard drive. So I go, I need to come over to blah, 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 set it up. I went over to their place, and I'm interviewing them. I got their interview and everything, their quotes, whatever. And then I started talking to them about what they do. And it turns out they were schooling me about merchandising and touring and, buses and all the shit that they do. So see how things turn around 360? You always help people and because it'll come back to you. Always
man,
karma,
you helped
man.
So many people in the past, dude. It's amazing.
Oh man, it's just cool that I was sitting in there. I'm taking notes to these guys, and I'm thinking about. I said, man, it's the student teaching the teacher.
Right, exactly.
And now, it's the reverse. It's just. I'm so proud of those guys for carrying that Florida flag, and they're out on tour right now, and they're just great guys, and they're joking, we're nothing more than glorified T-shirt salesmen, because it's so hard to make money these days,
Right.
But, it's cool, man, that the early days with Chuck and Death, before they were even Mantis, they come to Savage shows, and, stories with Morbid Angel, and, so many other Atheists, and, it's just I want to leave a legacy, It's like I want to see who the third wave is. All these new bands that are out. I talked to Brian Slagle. I talked to Dan Johnson from Parr. I said, dude, we need to do like a compilation album of the next wave of fucking Tampa Bay metal. That's what put it on the map.
Dude.
Back then it was California with Slayer and Metallica and Exodus, and then there was New York with Anthrax, and we were down in the swamplands, Southern rock and all that shit, and they thought it was just beaches, and Nasty Savage emerged, and then everybody else came after that. But that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to put Florida on. That's why I reached out to Ed, and he reached out to me, Eddie Bourne, because he said, Ron, how are you getting in all these I said, dude, let me give you all my contacts. Go for it, because you know what? I'll give you the ball. You got to go run, score a touchdown. And he did it. And, that's because of that, it only made our scene better.
Right.
And you got to be open-minded, man. And it's just an exciting time now that our album's really being released after 20 years. I mean, it's definitely cool. Now I'm talking to you guys about the product. And, back then there was no podcast, media sites.
Right.
There's nothing. It was licking stamps, man. It was licking stamps and taking sacks to the post office. They knew me.
Man, here's my plan. I'm going to do a Drinking with Drew show. Here's my headliners. I'm going to do Morbid Angel, Nasty Savage, Must Not Kill, and we're going to do. I would love to see Brutality get back together at some point. And
I think you left out Jason Stallworth.
I got Jason Stallworth in studio, but I mean. That guy, he's
very small time compared to you guys,
but he's we got it. I am. Last time I checked, I was part of Jason's band, but if I'm part of that synopsis, we got to work that out. But and I want to do a Drinking with Drew show.
Minute. I tuned in earlier, and you guys were talking about testing out some kind of beer or something. Is Jason the bald guy?
He is. Yeah. Well, we have 2 bald guys. One has a hat on.
The deep voice is real serious, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, that's a serious motherfucker right there, man.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool, man.
Jason
you guys are doing this to get the word out.
He's an amazing guitar player. He's got 90,000 fucking guys on it, subscribers on his YouTube channel. He comes in here, 2 times a month to help us out on their, just hang out and have beers and check us out. Brad's a regular Must Not Kill guitarist and original, member of Must Not Kill. He comes in all the time. So we're doing what we can for the metal scene. We get metal guys in here. We had Siren on the show. I talked to Ed, earlier at Bourne talking about, the show. So we get the guys in here when we can. But Ronnie, we appreciate you coming on the show. And if you can, I will play that fucking, if you can get it to me, man, I would love to play that Witches Sabbath tonight. I don't know how you could do it. Text me a file.
Well,
or
I mean,
something.
if you have it, I mean,
It's not.
they should have sent that to
They
you.
didn't. I don't know why it's not here. They have the 2 releases, and then they have some video, some photos of you guys, which I did put online, or I put on the page, but it's not here.
That's cool.
So,
Well, I mean,
Dave said
as
he
long
would
as
send
you
it to you on
have,
Facebook.
yeah, I mean,
as long as you have those 2 songs, you know, I mean,
they're amazing. I mean, we love them. Those songs are. I mean, they have me asking for more. You know, so that's kind of where I'm at right now. So, you know,
yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, I could listen to this record and I'm like, damn, I don't want to hear it again. I never really was like that, you know, and it's just so much has changed. Back in the old days, we had big budgets, and you know, I wouldn't even hang in the studio. I'd just go in there really to do my vocals, and you know, because everything to me was just boring, like drum tracks, bump, 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 dun, 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 you know, like for 4 hours, getting the snare sound, because that's probably the most important thing. But you know, then the guitars, the rhythms, and you know, then the leads come in, and you know, now on that one track there, Schizoid Platform, we had a guest guitarist that's in there called, his name is Jerry Outlaw. Do you know him?
Yep.
He jammed with Sabotage and John Oliva.
yeah.
And he's an outstanding guitarist, man. Somehow Scotty knew him or somebody, and he talked to him. He said, dude, I'd love to do that. And then he kind of said, I'll do something with you guys for sure. I mean, it's not like we went out and were looking for it. But, man, he came in the studio and did like 3 solos on 3 different songs.
That's
I think
awesome.
he did one on Brainwasher. I think it was Brainwasher. So I don't know. I got them written down. They're on the album. It says anyway, he added another flavor to the, you know, to the guitar sound, and, you know, and it was, you know, it just added a lot to it. But, man, I'm telling you, the guy, did you talk to the other guys earlier?
Yeah, we talked to Dave and Kyle right before we called you. And, man, what a good set of guys that you could have picked for this fucking album and the future of Nasty Savage, man. They are fucking amazing.
I mean, I really, you know, I mean, you love them all your different bandmates, all your different, they will say what song, what record, you know, you kind of got to love them all equally, like your children, you know, you just
Right.
can't pick them, but you got to love, and you got to really love where you're at right now, because that's all you're in control of, you know. And it's like, with all the marketing and the promotion, another thing I did, as soon as we were in the studio, I was getting these little videos when we were playing back the songs, so right towards the end, so they were pretty good. And I'd record them on my phone, and then in Messenger, I would talk to, you know, some old school OG Nasty Savage fans, metal fans from the old days, from the 80s.
Right.
You know, guys who
Death Metal Dave.
totally respect. You know, Death Metal Dave was one of them, but, you know, guys in Texas and just legendary fans that are million record collecting guys and shit, and they're just aficionados on metal, you know.
Right.
They know everything about everybody from Yngwie to AC/DC and everything in between, from death metal to everything. So I would search those guys out again. I'd say, hey, man, we got this thing. I want you to hear it just for you. But, you know, you got to let me know what you think, and maybe even make a post. And, man, people, right from the get-go, they're going, this is fucking killer. People are going to be surprised. You know, this is really something special you got here. So I wanted to test the waters and judge from real people. You know, I said, look, just tell me what you really feel. So that was giving me more excitement that these guys are digging this shit. And it was like my old school way. I used to send free demos out to everybody just to try to get more people to order them, because I knew, like, if one guy in Toms River, New Jersey wrote me, but he didn't send any money, but he begged for a demo or something, and I sent him one anyhow, you know, and then I knew that he hung out with metalheads. Next thing you know, I'd write a letter and I put shit on there, like extra stickers or whatever, sign it, put some blood on it, whatever, you know, and then he'd go, oh my God, thank you. And then I get all these orders from Toms River, New Jersey, because all his friends, other, you know, metalheads wanted to get that shit, and they buy it. So it's just always searching out how to get the press, the media, you know, the good word on hard work. Let people hear it, and so that's what I was doing with this, just letting people hear it. You know, people in Germany, all over the world, friends of mine, and people who are real Nasty Savage fans, because ultimately, if they like it, that's the best thing. And then now this music I really didn't do a lot of high vocals or falsetto stuff. I mean, we did this whole album in like 8 days. I did my vocals in a day and a half.
Let me tell you what.
So
I appreciate your change in that only because, let's be honest, man, you're not fucking 25 years old. You're not 30 years old. You're fucking, and don't punch me or body slam me. I put you at 60 years old earlier. I said, Ronnie's fucking not 25. He's not 38. He doesn't need to be doing.
I'm 62.
62, great.
I'm 62 and keeping it true, brother.
Yeah, that's it, man. He doesn't need to be doing fucking Vince Neil fucking. And I love the old school Nasty Savage high vocals. It fit. It was perfect for the time. Every album you did it on fucking worked. We do not have to have it in 2024. We appreciate the fucking vocals that you're doing for Nasty Savage. It's everything sounded fucking amazing. So if anybody's hating on that, fuck them.
Well, no, one reason is because we didn't have a lot of time in the studio and to do those extra tracks and overdubs. But then I didn't write it that way. When I hear that music, I knew I just had to do my parts, man, because that shit was coming fast. We did the drums, we did the rhythms, and then we did the bass and then the leads, and then I was up next, man. So I'm just going to wake up one morning and go, I'm going to go to the studio today and do some fucking vocals for a new album. After 20 years, can you believe the anticipation of the anxiety that I had? I was like, holy shit, man. And then we were on a timeline. So it's like, I don't want to do these high vocals this time because actually I want to try to be a little more accessible, if I can say that. I wanted to be more accessible to younger crowds and not just turn people off with any, I just want to do it was in my heart at this time. But I also was in a marketing idea too. This is like, shit, man, let's really make it more accessible to these younger kids through the Obituary connection.
Right.
We're playing all these metal festivals and, we're playing the classic songs. We're not doing a lot of the new stuff at all, but it's just if we do, it'll be easier to sing for sure too, because you always got the Jeopardy Room with the sound people too. I'm in a Jeopardy Room with that.
Well, I'll tell you, man. This is Brad from us. This is Brad from Us Night Killing. Just to tell you, man, it totally fits. It doesn't sound forced at all. And just me being a musician, listening to this thing, well done. It was really well done.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
It's really about, I wanted to be clear so people could kind of grasp some of the shit I'm saying, because it's important to me, but, not everybody listens to the words or really deciphers them, and it doesn't matter, because it was just like these poetic, philosophical outbursts in my style, how I do it. It's like, is it a rapping thing? Is it fucking just throwing out some gut? It's just like the music, the rhythm will set you free, man. The rhythm sets me free. And when I hear those words, the music, it just made me write what I write to go with the music. And it's like totally natural shit. Totally. Nothing's fake. Another thing is, the guys, I wrote with David Austin for so many years, so many classic songs and Ben. But Dave and I always had such a great connection, and I'm really happy that we're still the best of friends. Dave's got so much class that he's helped promote and market. He even gave us a full review of the album, and he gave us a 10 on the album.
Right.
He really likes it a lot, man. And, it's so special because, it's this new chapter, and it's an exciting time, but you can't forget where you come from and respect all that. And it's
man,
it's
I
really
tell you what,
odd.
We had Ben in the studio a few months back, and honestly, man, he had nothing but respect for you and the band and the history. I've been following you guys forever. Like I said, man, I was a fan back in the 80s and 90s, and I'm old school. When you see parents fight, it hurts. And I'm just going to be honest with you. It hurt me a little bit when I heard things were going south, but I respect the fuck out of you for bringing this back to life and making it what it is now, man. I give you kudos, and I thank you so much for making this happen.
Well, that's killer, brother. But we've been playing shows. I mean, we've been dealing Nasty Savage out there. We played all kinds of festivals all over the world, and from Mexico to Chile to Panama to Peru, all over. We just went to Colombia. But what's really cool is like we played in 2 Minutes to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I was looking at my Facebook page, and I got all these different things on images, and I had a Nasty Savage flyer, and I was going to post it, like the history of Nasty Savage or some shit like that. And I looked at it, and it was the last time played Tulsa, and it was like 30 years ago at DRI. And here we were in Tulsa that night. I go, holy shit, this is the last time we played here. That's how fast time flies. So then after the show, I'll go over to the merchandise booth, try to do some politicking and meeting and greeting and kissing some babies and shaking some hands, try to sell more merchandise because that's what you have to do.
Right.
So these old guys will come up to me and they go, "Man, I've been a fan for all these dude from the old days. It's demo tape, and this is my son, and we love it, blah blah blah." And gray hair and beards and shit. Another guy comes up, and I'm looking at him. I go, "These guys look kind of old." I'm gonna ask, "How old are you guys?" And they're like, "Well, I'm 58." And he goes, "I'm 49, and I'm 50 something."
Yeah.
I go, "Fuck, man! Everybody I asked, I was the oldest guy in the whole place,
and
I just was on stage smashing TVs, getting bloody, and swinging chains, and sacrificing television sets with ceremonial sacrificial flowers and the fucking mask with the Day of the Dead skull shit.
Right.
Just bringing these people on a trip, burning images in their brain and that they've never had before. Because face it, a lot of bands these days just there and play their music, and that's cool. But the thing that I've always is just impact, put on a show, and after about an hour we're done, back to normal, but gave people something to take home with them, and that's something they're not going to fucking forget. And it's old school metal, man, from the 80s. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Brandon metal from Tampa Bay, man. It's something that started in the 80s, and we created that shit. We're carrying it on the next chapter. But when we go to a metal fest in Chicago, and there's all these Scandinavian black metal and goth death metal bands and shit with the white faces, and I'm like, damn, these dudes are fucking serious, heavy shit. And then we come in with the Barnum and Bailey fucking greatest show on earth, don't miss a beat there, boom, and great, and send them home happy. They're looking at us like, wow, that was something different, man. Is that what 80s metal is about? Is that what it is? They're like going, holy shit, this is some crazy motherfuckers. And the music is what does that. The music does it to me. It always did it with Ben and Dave and everybody. It's just the rhythm will set you free, man, and you got to get in. I get enticed with that, but it's about the band that makes that music sound like that, and it's a team effort, but it's crazy, man. We go in there with these young kids, and we're just rocking our shit out from the 80s metal, but I'm bringing that crowd into it. I'm still learning more on how to create the connection properly, how to give that experience, how we can celebrate together tonight, get mama from the kitchen, bring her in too, because this is a night we can't ever go back to.
Just touching on that, like I remember seeing you guys play my hometown in Middletown, like a warehouse, and it was like literally one of the first shows I ever went to, and it was like they were doing like $5 at the door and they give you a solo cup, and it was like, it had kegs of beer and shit. But I remember like seeing you guys back then, and literally that show, some of my friends were playing that show with you guys and all that stuff, but it always like drove me to do what I do today. So I just wanted to let you know that.
Man, that it's so cool, man. We just played San Antonio, this big metal fest, and I guess Ed from Monstrosity, you know that dude?
Yeah.
Didn't he do a show on your station or something? He does a podcast, I guess, somewhere. Do you know him?
I don't know Ed personally. I know
he's a badass dude, a big motherfucker, and just looks like a big ass biker and shit. And he's like loud, and we're all talking, and I didn't say much because I was just listening. We're all in this room, in the hotel lobby or something, eating at a little restaurant kind of deal. I didn't say nothing. I'm just kind of watching everybody because I don't want to be Nasty Ronnie 24/7. I'm a really mellow dude. And then he goes, "Hey, Nasty," he goes, "I got to tell you something. Do you remember this?" He goes. And he's a big dude. I'm like, damn, this is a bad looking motherfucker here. And he goes, dude, I got to tell you something. He goes, you remember the Crossroads, this bar up on 301? Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. He goes, well, you guys were playing there a long time ago, and I jumped on stage. I was with so-and-so. He goes, and you body slammed me, man. He goes, that was so cool. I go, holy shit, man. I go, you must have been a lot smaller back then because I always pick the smaller guys to do that, too. It's just funny that, because, how you impact people. That's why in the older days going around the South, Johnny Cash, Elvis, Little Richard, And Jerry Lee Lewis would sometimes play the same stage that night. They'd be on this little tour, working out of a car. And Little Richard would get off the stage and look at Jerry Lee and say, "Oh, top that." And Jerry Lee would go, "I got you." He'd go there and set his fucking piano on fire and fucking go off the stage. So when you have it, that's always been my mentality, is just not own it, but that's your domain, man. Just create that, whatever you do, to try to impact people. And now, since I'm older, more mature, I try to give people maybe a message or two about being better people, coming together. It doesn't matter if you're black or white or who you're from or what you like or don't like. Tonight we're all together for one reason, people, and it's heavy metal. Right. It's what brought us here. Let's celebrate this time. So it's like, and then we do the Morgue, old song from the Morgue, and I talk about, hell, man, if you're not talking to somebody, make that call, man, because if you're not talking to your mom or your brother, you might know someone contemplate. Right now, someone might be listening, contemplating suicide or having a rough time. If someone make a call, reach out. I'm reaching out to you right now, brother, if you're listening, or sister. You don't have to do that, but make the call to try to help somebody, because of the last place you might see them is the morgue. Then we start the song. Right. But, after the show, a lot of people come to you and goes, "Man, that hit home, brother." He goes, "That really, I'm calling my mom tomorrow." So it's really good for me to hear that hell, I'm making a difference. Maybe if we save one life, or it sounds corny, but it's real. It's real to me,
for sure.
And then to me, then when they do that slow intro, that's when I'd turn around and I put on this skull mask, which is like Day of the Dead. Then I take these bouquet of flowers and I start like picking them off real slow. Like she loves me not, and dropping them on the TV set, real slow, methodical. So the music goes down, and I'm just picking the flowers real slow, dropping them on the TV set. It's like surreal shit. And these people are looking at that going, "I'm feeling something." And if they're really getting it, they're understanding that those are sacrificial flowers that are going on the TV, because later tonight, it's like a bullfighter, man. At the end of the thing, he fucks with the bull, but you know what happens at the end? Mm-hmm. You know what happens to the bull? That's going to happen in this TV set. So I'm doing these symbolic things. Right. And, it's just really, I have a good time doing it, because I know the music is setting me free. The rhythms will do that. The leads, it's like, it's hypnotic, man. And it's just, I just zone out and do my thing. I don't care what anybody says, but I try to keep people involved in the show.
Did you ever like in high school, like, were you interested in acting? Or, I mean, you did some wrestling kind of, not, I don't know what extent you got into wrestling, but you had that persona for a while. But
wrestling was one of my inspirations, man. Right. On Saturday night, Florida Championship Wrestling, I wouldn't go out of that. My friends wouldn't come pick me up to go party until 8 o'clock when wrestling was over, because I'd watch it with my mom. So I was just that kind of person. But believe it or not, one of the things that inspired me when I was in 4th grade, we saw this movie, and it was West Side Story. It was the Jets and the Sharks, these gangs, but they were dancing and singing to these cool songs. It was a storyline. It was really Romeo and Juliet in the 60s in New York, with these gangs that hated each other and death. And it's just dun, 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 and all these different little dances. And I knew every one of those songs. So I'd go to my family's functions, and my mom's side of the family was Latin, Spanish and stuff, and they'd get out the guitars and start singing. They go, "Ron, do West Side Story," and I'd start singing them. So I was always like a performer, but I never jammed with anybody or never really did any acting. I always did my own thing. I was always creative. And when I had the opportunity to get in the band, it was a friend of mine. I used to sit in my room and start listening to new wave British heavy metal, Holocaust, Angel Witch, Venom, all those older bands from the early days, early Maiden, Priest. And then this guy goes, "Hey man, you sing?" I go, maybe, I don't know. I go, "I know a band who needs a singer." It was a band called Nightmare. It was Ben and Fred and Craig Huffman. So they set me up to go over there and try out for the band. So I go over there and I try out. I was with my wife at the time, which was my girlfriend. We were just going out. We were driving in her Pinto. I said, "Pull over here. I'm going to try for a band." She goes, "What?" I'm gonna try for a band.
Just pull
come
over.
back in about an hour. So I go in there and I sang a couple of Iron Maiden, Rothschild, and something else. And then I left, and I never heard anything from the guys. I'm like, damn, they never called me back or nothing. I guess I didn't get that gig. So then I saw them at a keg party like a week later, and I went up to them. I said, dude, do you guys want me to be your singer or not? And they go, yeah, we do. I go, okay, I'll be over Monday with a game plan. And they're like, okay. So I go over to the jam room. It's all these kids in the house smoking and partying, and just a bunch of kids in the house with the band. I go, all right, everybody out except the band. They go, look at me like, who is this guy? I said, everybody out right now, just the band. Bye. Got them all out. I go, sit down. I had them all sit down on the floor. And I go, the name of the band is Nasty Savage. I'm Nasty Ronnie, the wildest singer ever. I said, and within 1 year, we're going to be signed to a record label. And I said, first, we're going to put our money together. We're going to do a demo tape called Wage of Mayhem. I said, and within 1 year, we're going to be signed to a record label. We're going to be touring, and we're going to get fan mail from all over the world. I go, is everybody in? They go, hell yeah. And then, that was, we were on track to do something. Then we acquired David Austin. We need another guitarist. We found out about David Austin. At the same time, Craig had some problems. He was gone. We acquired Curtis Beeson, and we went on and did the demo tape, and the rest is kind of history for us. And,
nice.
We accomplished those goals, but
right.
You can't slow down. You got to really push, and nothing comes easy.
For sure. You've been working at it forever, man.
There's no rules in marketing and promotion either.
I mean, and you've got side projects. You've got Born to Ride. So you're not, without even Nasty Savage, you're a busy dude.
Oh yeah. I did Born to Ride in the 90s. That started in like 95. So there was a long time when I was just like working regular jobs and stuff. I worked at Hinkles and McCoy for a while, digging ditches. I worked, and I was a shop foreman in this other place, AFAB, making lead line drywall and lead line doors, and we deliver them to all these hospitals around the state, because everything in the 80s was just booming, and every city had a new hospital built. We were doing I was lifting lead, and I was just getting bigger and bigger and badder, and I just felt like, man, I'm young and I'm ready to do this. So it's like rock and roll, hell yeah.
Right.
And we didn't know what to do. There was no rules, man. There was no one to follow. We had to blaze our own trail. And that's what we did. Kind of leaders lead, winners will win, followers will follow, but losers will lose. So when I hang with people, I want to fly with eagles, man, because I don't want to deal with turkeys, and the more you're not around turkeys, the more you're going to do positive things and move on, because life goes by too fast.
Now you've got a little project in Lakeland too, right?
Well, I have. I'm a picker, man. I go to swap meets, garage sales. I'm at flea markets. I'm having an obsession, man. It's almost like
awesome,
drug
though.
addiction,
right?
To buy shit and flip it. And so I'm in like 5 different antique malls around the state of Florida. I'm in Vero Beach. I'm in Lakeland. I have 4 booths at Lakeland Antique Mall. I have over 200 vendors in that place. I'm in Bartow. I'm in Wildwood Antique Mall, and then Hudson, which I'm going to tomorrow. I'll probably be working there for 10 hours tomorrow, restocking and moving shit around. It's a lot of work, man, but it's good to have that stuff. Born to Ride, I've been doing that for 29 years. Born to Ride TV.
Yeah.
I produced 1,340 TV episodes of Born to Ride television. I took it off the air a couple of years ago, and now I'm just publishing the magazine. So this month is my 245th episode issue of Born to Ride magazine. Selling, marketing, promotion, photography, giving people assignments. I always felt like I was Perry White. You know who Perry White is?
No.
I'm Lois and Clark.
Oh, Lois and Clark.
Yeah, Perry White is the editor of the Daily Planet. Yeah, and he'd send out
Thank you, Joe.
Good job.
Pajama Joe.
And he'd comic book guy. But, he'd send out Lois Lane and Clark Kent and Jimmy Olsen to get the story.
Right.
But he had to be very clear with what he wanted. Otherwise, they'd come back without the whole story. So I learned to be a really good communicator. And as a publisher and producer, working with editors and people like that, man, you really you can't waste time, but you don't want to work over their shoulder. either, because you got other things to do. You want to trust your guys, give them a ball, let them run with it. Let them create, fire them up. It's so awesome when you can fire people up enough. I like guys who'd come in early and stay late. I didn't like the guys who'd come in late and try to go home early on me. So
right.
I have a
like
real
Pajama
knack
Joe.
of
Pajama Joe.
I have a real knack of bringing winners together and leaders that can run with the ball, man. It's so important in your life, and with your boss, your kids, your family, anything. Just keep trying and bring it together. And that's what I try to do. So with the antique malls now, I'm doing that. Still Born to Ride, and then Nasty Savage is starting to, really take off more and more. Who knows what's going to happen? I got booking agents now wanting to represent us. We never had that before. Management people, other record companies now are looking at us, and it's an exciting time, man. But
if you're ever bored on a Sunday and you want to take the Harleys out, let me know. I'm an avid rider, 2 Harleys. So if you need somebody to take you out to Lakeland on the dusty roads, let me know. I'm going to help you out with that because I'm always out riding.
Yeah, that's cool. We have maybe next time Frank comes, we could get together because there's really some cool roads. You go out 640 Lithia that way, and then hit the phosphate mines. And
I totaled a bike on the phosphate mines once following a dump truck. So trust me, I know. Yeah, it's good times.
It's so dangerous, man.
Hey, so Dave just sent us the Witches Sabbath. So,
Dave Orman?
Yeah. Do you want to stay on while we listen to this, or you want us to listen to it and give our commentary online? That's completely up to you, but I'm definitely listening to the song.
If you want to play it, this is an exclusive right here. No one's heard this. It's really not even supposed to be released, but for the Drinking with Drew show,
man,
let's do this. Let's do an exclusive right here, man.
I'm stoked. So give me 2 seconds.
You guys have the exclusive.
Let me see if I can get this fired up. I don't know if the phone and the computer is going to play sound at the same time. So when I play this song, if we can't hear you, that's why. But
if you just want to listen to it, I'll listen, whatever. And you can come back when you're done.
All right, let's see how this goes.
The Sabbath is a ritual of fright. The candles burn bright. Coven ups and witches are dancing, and Satan laughs. Orgy begins. Take it and reveal.
Man, that sounds killer. That's so awesome for Donald Tardy, to help you out with that. Amazing track. I definitely can't wait to get this album in my hands. October 10th, that's the release date. Is that correct?
Yeah. I mean, they're already ordering and people are getting them now. I mean, I've got some CDs already myself. It's really from the past because those are Fred Dregish and myself wrote that song. You know, it's like that brings us back to where we started, and then bringing the Tardy brothers in there. And when John fucking sings, it's just so killer, man. And he just Black Masters, Witches. I mean, it's just so killer. And he just sings a couple of verses, man. It's like, man, this is so righteous, you know, so real, and so much part of history before our eyes that we did this. You know, it's like. It's just an incredible moment, and I knew it'd be very special. And just think, fans never even know who Nasty Savage is because of that connection. They're going to tune in. They're going to check it out. You know, I'm going to try to get those guys to put it on their next album.
That'd be amazing. That'd be amazing.
But you know, now we have even more of an opportunity. We might do a tour with that. I mean, who knows what will happen next? But you got to lay those bricks, man, and build a foundation and move up. You know, just take steps one after another. Keep going forward. And you know, when you're on your game and you know you're righteous to other people and you got that good karma, you know, good things will come back to you. And it's just. It's so cool how things work out sometimes, and
absolutely,
you know, I'm blessed because the guys we're jamming with are just great guys. They have so much passion and so much talent too, you know. And Pete's a shredder, Jim's a killer drummer,
Jim's amazing,
Dave
man.
Orman is an incredible guitarist. Has so much talent that he's not even using yet, man. I'm excited about what he's coming up with because he said he's already writing some new shit. And then Kyle is just a monster on the bass, and he's all over the stage. And you know, was a captain in the Army, man. I call him Captain. I said, okay, Captain, you know, because he's just straight up, man. He's always the guy who's like on the perimeter, finding out what's around the hotel and all, you know, every information. You go, okay, man, give me the download, and he'll have all the information.
That's awesome.
You know, if we're going to a town, what roads to take.
Right. Brad played with Kyle for how long?
He was in Must High Kill for a couple of years, man.
Yeah.
So I know Kyle really well.
He's played in a lot of different bands, but he's like the ultimate metal fan. He was a fan of Nasty Savage. After I got him in the band and shit, he sends me this promo picture that I sent him when he ordered a T-shirt one time. It was like, damn, this is so fucking killer.
He said he played with my band, Artistic Butchery, back in the late 80s, early 90s. So he says he might have a flyer of that show. So, Volley Club days, early Brass Mug Fletcher Avenue days, we're talking old school, Sunset Club days. So, I mean, that dude's been around, man.
It's a big history with this, this new chapter here of Nasty Savage. And then this guy, Jerry Outlaw, who came in the studio and played, he's a phenomenal guitarist too, man. And, so I'm talking to him. I was doing that interview with him outside the studio. And I go, well, tell me something, man, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, well, man, I tell you, Nasty Savage put this big impact on me, man. When I first moved here, he goes, you guys were the first band that I saw live when I came to Tampa. He goes, that was the first time I realized it was okay to smash furniture in a bar.
Right.
when we were playing. I go, really? I go, that's cool. But we made an impact on him. So I don't know how many years later he's in the studio doing some solos for us. But he worked with John Oliva, man. And, just like, it's just
awesome.
It's just so cool, and what music will bring people together, and what it does, and then you reach the fans when you get to play live. And it's like these different levels of, and now we're talking about it on your show, and I've been doing press all week. Matter of fact, yesterday I was contacted by Chris Jericho, and I'm going to do Talk is Jericho, and next week they just scheduled me to do his podcast. It's like, nice. And I've got an interview for Art Shock magazine as well. It's a big one. But I've been doing, man, dude, probably about 20 different interviews the last couple of weeks.
We're gonna get you and Ed Aborn, Chris Jericho on the show 2025. Let's do it.
Yeah, man. Good luck with that. Chris
It's gonna
is like
happen.
Elvis.
It's
man.
gonna happen, man.
You know,
It's gonna happen.
That guy is just so inspiring to me, and he's a Savage fan.
He is.
And
he's a metal fan, man. He's old school metal fan, man. He's around Tampa.
Man,
he's, you know.
He's just a hero to so many people in wrestling and business, and he helps people out with charities so much. And you know, it's just people like that you look up to, and
Tampa,
you want to be like
people
them.
need to realize Tampa is a hot commodity. I mean, we've got a lot of people here in Tampa, and trust me, when I started my podcast and the show here, I'm like, man, I want to get I had a list of people I wanted to get in the show. You were one. You're on the show. I mean, and I had a lot of people on the show that I just originally said, hey, let's do it. Seems like a long shot. I think we can get Chris Jericho on the show. I think we can get you, him, Ed Bourne. We'll even have, let's put Trey. Good connections with Trey from Morbid Angel. He said he wants to be on the show. I think we could make it an interesting show.
I was talking to Glenn Benton just the other day for about
that
an
would
hour.
be
I haven't talked to
amazing.
him a couple of years, and we might be doing a show in January with Venom Inc., Nasty Savage, Deicide, and someone else, and Mount Dora. Working on that at the end of January. But, it's like anybody that you put on your show, man, has a story to tell. And that's what's so great about what you guys do. You take your time. You're in bands. You know the deal, but you're helping other people, and you're helping the metal movement and just storytelling of other people's journeys.
Yeah.
And it's so important, man. And, there's a lot of talent in that room, I know. And, to take the time to do it is great. And I'm always available to do stuff like this because you got to give back, man. But you also got to be smart enough to know that someone might hear this and might be your next investor or your next producer or, someone, a record, just never know, man. That's why you work hard.
Been at it, man. We've been doing this for 2 years now, and, it's building every month, every week, every day. So, man, I thank you so much for coming on. Last minute, I know we this thing kind of snowballed overnight, and it happened. And I appreciate you coming on and giving us the little backtracks and the story behind these 2 songs and the new album. Anytime you want to come on the studio, you're more than welcome. I know it's a little trip. We're out in Riverview, Florida. 301
Big
Ben.
I'm in Valrico, so
301
it's not too far. Brandon.
301 Big Ben. That's where we're at, man. You're welcome anytime you want to come out, man.
I was just in Sun City today. I went and saw my mom down
Awesome,
in Sun
man.
City Center.
Very
She's
cool,
94 and still plays golf.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Unbelievable.
That's awesome.
I took her to breakfast. We went to Bob Evans up there.
Very cool, man.
But really, guys, I mean, I appreciate what you do to take the time and effort. Shit's not magic, people. You just don't turn on the whatever, and it just pop. These guys work their ass off to set up. You got a cool set, cool lighting. I saw what you guys are doing, and it's camaraderie, and it's your storytelling that brings people in, and the whole beer thing is cool too. You should be getting more beer sponsors, I think.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
I really think you got to go to Pep and Distribute, and Budweiser just looking for places to probably market their beer more and get more people drinking it again. Just what there's you got. I think you got a real opportunity too to take it to other levels. But it's where you're at right now is the most important thing. But it's always cool to look out that windshield and know that you can go down that highway and pick up more whatever you're looking for. It's out there.
Yep.
I mean, get off your ass and get some damn sponsors
I hear
and
ya.
not just sit around drinking.
Yeah, that's what we're doing, bro. Party Liquors in Gibsonton, Florida, man. That's our guys right there. Party Liquors, Glory Days in Riverview. You're looking at us right now. Those are our future sponsors.
Glory holes.
Glory Holes, sorry. Glory Days, Glory Holes. Yep. So yeah, man, we're gonna get there. And Sir Ronnie, if you need somebody to shoot video, Brass Mug coming up. I am your guy. I got a full Netflix quality video system in hand. I do commercial video. Let me know. I'll be more than welcome.
Is that what you do? Do you do that?
I do a lot of shit, man, but that is one thing that I do. I do high quality video production. So if you need somebody, hit me up. I shot your show. I shot you guys at a few times. The last show I shot from you guys was the Curtis Beeson benefit show at the Crowbar in 2012. Yeah. So I shot that show. And so I my background a little bit weird, but photography. I shot photos for that show, but I've transitioned over to video. So I'm here for you, bro. Let me know. I am 100% available for you guys if you need a videographer.
Let's come up with a project, man. I've got some ideas of some things I want to do. So what do you edit on?
Premiere Cut, Pro, like fucking, it depends on what you want. So I've got people who want me to transition into different systems right now, but I'm a Premiere guy at this point, but we'll see.
Yeah,
what do you need? What do you need?
Any of those are all the same.
Yeah.
But it's really cool when you get a timeline and you got your music bed or whatever your background music is, and then you fill in that timeline. Say an interview, you start with a blank canvas.
Yeah.
And you got an interview. And now I need some B-roll. Give me some color. Put some B-roll to what I'm talking about, And that's what I did every week. I told stories, man. And I did a movie called Nation's Fire too. That's what I was going to tell you. And 2016, I was a creative director of Nation's Fire. We filmed in LA for 29 days. We stayed in this like $6 million house in Encino, and I'd come on the set every morning in Hollywood with the inner circle of the movies and the investing people. I lived in the house with them. Nice. It was so killer. We're in the hills of Hollywood. We were in the Burbank in the studios there. It was crazy, man, But, I just found out they're all plastic people and all fake and phony and trying to backstab each other, It's
Hollywood's a little crazy. I know. I get it.
It is. So to be more real with people like you guys doing stuff and, creating something that you really care about. And I wanted to do a thing about the history of metal in Tampa Bay.
Man, I'd love to help you with that. I'd love to help you with that project, man, for sure. So let's
man, everybody's got a story,
Yep. Hit me up, man. Let's talk about it. Let's do something, man. But thank you so much for your hour of time, man. I know it means a lot, and you're a busy dude, man. So it means a lot
to me, man, to hang out with you guys with the Drinking and Drew show. You guys do a great job, and I'm always here, man. You got my number. Whatever. We'll come up with some more stuff, and I just want to thank you guys for giving us some credit with this new music and sharing it with people, man. It's so important, and Nasty Savage, all the guys, thank you, and we really appreciate it,
bro. Thank you so much. It means a lot to us. And yes, we will continue to push this genre, your music. I look forward at some point to getting you in the studio. No rush, no pressure, but I would love to get you through the door. You, Kyle, Dave, Jim, Pete, you guys are welcome anytime that you guys want to come through the door. It's open.
Well, let's do it before maybe Swarm Fest coming up in November. We're playing at the Brass Mug.
Fuck yeah, man. And I will be at that show regardless. So definitely, man. Let's work it out.
Sure. All right, man. Well, thanks again, guys. Keep up the great work. And what's the big dude's name again?
Jason Stallworth, the big dude.
Yeah, Jason.
Hey, man.
Wait.
Yeah, dude.
Didn't we talk one time around the Siren days when we were doing that show or something?
You and I talked. Yeah, I'm good friends with Doug Lee and Eddie Moore and Hal and the guys. And you needed a bass player at the time, and we were talking about your YouTube channel. And I meant to get back. I will get back with you on that, I promise. But you were needing the bass player at the time, and I'm not.
Yeah,
you got a much better bass player than me.
You're like, I play guitar.
Yeah,
man. Yeah. No, I remember that, man. I remember you're a hustler with the social media. That's always so intriguing, man. Let's put our heads together, man, and maybe we come up with something cool, a little project here and there.
We will, dude. Yeah.
But I thought it was you, man. I didn't forget. I know you're the man. You're a badass guitarist.
Kyle
look fucking mean too, man. You got a cool look in that voice. It's like, it's like really. I was watching you earlier. I was going, that's a serious motherfucker right there now.
Kyle is a much better bass player than Jason is.
Much better, dude.
Just going to put that out
at least you were there for me to at least cry on your shoulder a little bit about it. I go, man, I'm in this predicament, bro. I was like, we made it happen, but, the captain always got to make it happen.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true, man. And you did, man.
Captain Kyle now.
And you did. You made it happen, man. So we're happy for that. I'm happy that you're pushing this legend to continue. Nasty Savage is still rolling, man. And you're doing excellent with it, man. So thank you so much. Thank you for coming on the show. And if you need me to help you with anything, you know where to reach me. Let's do it, man.
Oh, yeah, brother. I got you on my phone and everything.
All right, Ronnie.
Do it.
Nasty Ronnie,
thanks,
thank
guys.
you so much, brother.
All
right, brother. All right, bye.
Bye-bye. Man, what a cool dude.
Very cool dude, man.
How can you fucking say anything other than a cool dude? He helps everybody out. He's amazing.
He was so cool. It's worth ruining a tumbler for.
I couldn't leave. I could not leave.
So did you?
You could have slipped me a note that said, "Go get me a cup," and you wouldn't have ruined my thermos.
Can we talk about this?
Sure.
So what happened here was that Drew peed in
my drink. That was my water in there still too.
So while I was interviewing Ronnie, I had to piss really bad.
Everybody in the chat knows what's going on.
I refused to leave, and I grabbed her tumbler. I took the top off, and I pissed in the cup.
Now,
and it was my good thermos cup. It says easily distracted by wieners, and there was a dachshund on it. And it was nice. It was like that, like engraved one.
I saw that when we were eating pizza. I commented on that when we were eating pizza earlier.
And it's
that's the one.
No.
It won't fit. It won't fit in there.
The wiener or the?
You literally just have to aim the head right.
So I have
in Dumb and Dumber they made it work that way.
It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So
is that a cardigan?
I had to pee while interviewing Nasty Ronnie and making it work. Okay, so that's what happened. There's no regrets. No regrets. Okay, it happened.
You owe me like 6 new cups. I'm going to be sending you links.
Whatever. We don't even have the cabinet space to fit that.
I don't care. There's enough for one more.
Point being, I made it through an hour plus of an interview with Ronnie, and I had to pee. I made it work. That's all I'm saying.
So when we replace Laura's cup, should we get 2 in case you have to pee in another one?
I think we just need to take the hospital pee cup that I had.
Yes.
There we go.
From the hospital
that's a good idea,
and keep it under the desk. So if that happens, I got to pee again, and I'm going to go pee.
Now, how much wiener was exposed during this process, though?
There was none. It was all under the desk.
Okay.
I'm going to go pee again right now, so stand by.
All right, stand by, guys.
The show is still continuing, guys. So
yeah, got a little bit more to go here.
I was pissed that he pissed in my cup.
Oh, yeah, I know.
And that was like my favorite fucking cup.
Now it should be your extra favorite cup.
No. I literally went in there. I dumped it in the toilet, flushed the pee down, went into the kitchen, literally like holding with my fingertips because I wasn't sure if there was like splash on the outside of the cup.
Yeah.
I put it in steaming hot water and I took like 6, 7, 8 bleach wipes.
Just throw it in the trash.
And I wiped the whole thing down and then I soaked it. Yeah, I don't think I'll ever.
If I see you carrying that around next week,
I'm going to make you a drink in that one.
No.
We'll get you a new wiener.
Yeah.
I already sent to the
like
Amazon
it needs
link
to be,
it.
Yeah,
Okay.
like I want the same one where it's like etched in the side of it. It's not like a sticker where it can like
I like
peel
that
off.
a lot. Yeah, I thought it was a cute.
What's the problem? It has a little wang to it.
You want it?
No.
Okay.
The pee smelled a little medical. I don't know if he's still on antibiotics.
He was a little
medical
metal.
pee? Was it
I
medical?
literally smelled like the I was like, oh,
No, you can smell it?
I smelled.
Oh
the
my
piss.
God.
Now,
is
is it a mental smell because you saw it walking by, or
No.
was it
He
like
put it
a real
right there on
smell?
the end of the table.
I
When he
saw
was done
him
with
grab
it.
the cup, and I wasn't sure what the hell he was doing. And then soon
I didn't know either.
And I saw him unzip it. I was like, oh no! And I just turned my head, and then I just got like a waft of urine. And I was just like, great.
And I did, like I screamed no.
I am so happy I'm here today.
I know. I screamed no, but I was like trying to like
I'm glad I
not
grabbed
say
this seat.
anything because I didn't want to ruin. Because Ronnie was talking, and so I'm like, I didn't want to like say anything to ruin the conversation. So I was like, no, and then it was no stopping it at that point.
Yeah, he has a lot to say. He's a cool dude, though. He's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I remember talking to when I first met Eddie Bourne back in 2016, 17. He actually helped me with the drums on one of my albums, and we're talking about that. I had him on my channel for the very first time. I remember interviewing him for my channel and come to realize that the mic wasn't on the entire time, so I had to do it again. But anyway, he talked about Ronnie in Nasty Savage and how Ronnie helped them in the scene back in the 80s. So I thought that was really, really cool. Dude, what is that? Brownies.
Did you wash your hands before you touching the brownies?
I thought they were
you
hamburgers.
better.
Oh, no need to do that, guys. It's just, you do it,
Got piss hand brownies.
Yeah, let's do one of these. But yeah, Ronnie, he talked about Ronnie, praised Ronnie for all the help he gave them back in the day, sharing all the places they could play and such for nothing, and Ronnie never asked anything in return. So that was a real cool story. Oh, yeah.
Man. Woo! All right, guys. We still have a whole show to go. Like, are you guys ready for another hour?
No.
No?
I was going to go an hour, maybe 15 minutes.
Damn.
Did you not even bring the fucking brownies over here?
No, do you want one?
No.
I don't know if you want one. Oh.
They were made for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sorry. All right, everybody. This has been another episode of the Drinking with Drew show. Stay tuned for more uploads, more shows. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Humble Social, all the socials. Our live shows are Tuesday at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. Feel free to check us out live. You can call into the show and be a part of it. See you soon.